I'm Alexandros Stamatakis, and I'm professor of computer science. And today I will present to you the EcoFreq tool that allows you to compute with cleaner and cheaper energy. So, what we know is that there are real-time energy prices, and we also know the real-time CO2 intensity of the energy being produced over the time of the day. So, what we observe is that there are those red phases where energy production is CO2 intensive and energy cost is high, and then there are those green phases where energy production has low CO2 intensity and is also pretty inexpensive. So the key idea of EcoFreq is to use less energy for computing during the red phases and more energy for computing during the green phases. So essentially what the tool does is that it uses real-time information about the CO2 intensity or the price of energy, which are tightly correlated, and scales the computing power inversely to the energy prices and inversely to the CO2 intensity of our energy. So the way it works is as follows. It uses some APIs to obtain real-time data about the grams of CO2 produced per kilowatt hour, or analogously, the cost per kilowatt hour, or the fraction that renewable energy is contributing to the overall energy mix. And this is just used by EcoFreq in real time. And what EcoFreq then does is that it dynamically caps or reduces the clock frequency of our hardware, or the power consumption of our hardware, or the utilization fraction of our hardware. So what are the advantages of this? It requires zero workload modification because EcoFreq directly only interacts with the hardware. This has a very low latency, and at present we're able to offer broad hardware support. So at present, we support ARM, GPU, and CPU architectures. So why should you care? What we've observed in experiments is that you can achieve overproportional savings. So we're able to lower the CO2 intensity of our computations as well as the electricity cost by 15 to 18%, while at the same time reducing the throughput loss only by 10%. Furthermore, this trade-off that you see above here is adjustable by a flexible scaling policy that can be specified in EcoFreq. Another advantage of EcoFreq is that we attain improved resilience through this flexibility. So there is like a real-time control of power usage, and you will be prepared for the next energy crisis with respect to avoiding price spikes, grid issues, and so on and so forth. So to put this into a graph, what we see here is that this is the reduction in throughput performance of a bunch of scientific codes, which ranges around 10%. This is the analogous reduction in terms of CO2 footprint of these computations here that we can attain. And this is the corresponding reduction in terms of energy cost under the condition that you do have a real-time energy cost tariff. So how did we test that? We used 14 HPC workloads from a standard high-performance computing benchmark suite. We used real historical price data from Germany for the year 2023, and all this was published in a peer-reviewed scientific paper at the International Supercomputing Conference. So to sum up, EcoFreq, under the settings we have tested it, reduces the CO2 footprint and the energy bill by 15 to 18%, while at the same time only inducing a computational throughput decrease of 10%. It is easy to install, and it is absolutely transparent to the applications. So there are no modifications required to the applications. Here you can find the link to our peer-reviewed scientific paper. You can also look at the open source code And this is Alexei, who has mainly designed the EcoFreq system, and me and those things here in the middle are our affiliations.